official.
Yeah, man. All right. We're good. We're live. We got put
We
some new graphics
live.
together. My goal every week is to add more production value as we go along here. All right. Can't do it all at once. So we're just kind of taking baby steps to this whole thing. But
that's right. But hey, we looking hella good up here with our names on it. Look at that with the ats and everything.
Yes, sir. I'm Sam. You can find me on Twitter at Sam Dracula. That's Balta at Hornets Lead. And there's some others. And some. How's your week been going, man?
Man, so look, school's ending in a good place. Summer, best life about to be lived. Freedom. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, right? It's all about that freedom, right?
Yeah.
Sam, I want to hit you up real quick before we start and we get into Hornets. Hornets Landia, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Anything you're watching right now? What's it? What's a show? What's a movie? That maybe a series? Something that you're on right now?
Okay, so I've seen 2 movies in the theater. Well, recently, Sinners.
Got to go see it.
And Thunderbolts, and loved both. Sinners was like a next level in theater experience. I don't think I've ever had an experience like that in the movie theater ever, to be honest with you.
That is quite the statement, sir.
Like, man, like if they're handing out Blu-rays, I don't own a Blu-ray, but you know what I mean. If I could buy the movie on the way out, I would have.
They're handing out Blu-rays. What are you talking about?
You pop the trunk, selling this parking lot. Nah, like I love that movie so much, and I wish more people got to see it in the bigger screen. I saw it in IMAX.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. Here in Charlotte, kind of limited. You don't get there's no 70 millimeter showings in this area, unfortunately. Sure. But maybe one day, who knows?
Okay.
And then from TV, I'm watching The Last of Us. Big fan of the game.
Yep.
And then that's like the show I'm looking forward to every week right now, which is about to end. The season finale is Sunday. So.
Oh, it's already this Sunday?
Yeah, it's only a 7-episode second season.
Oh man, I was hoping it would be 10. Give us 10.
Yeah. And then season 3, I assume will be the same kind of thing. But who knows?
Okay, so I have to get into Last of Us. I've watched season 1. I was waiting for school to get done before I dove in. I kind of just want to binge it. I didn't really want to do the week-to-week thing. I just kind of want to get in and like soak all of it up at the same time. That's something that I'm looking forward to. And then I'm going back and I'm actually watching The Sopranos. Never watched it.
Dog, I watched The Sopranos for the very first time. Like I finished watching it like 2 months ago. I had never seen an episode up until this year.
Me neither. This is I just started season 1 like a couple weeks back and I started getting into it. I had a couple days where I like had nothing to do, and then I just got in, and I was like, "This is kind of living up to some of the hype." So I've been looking forward to school ending, so I could get it back in on that too.
Yeah,
but I got to watch Sinners. I got to watch Sinners.
Sinners is great. It's great.
Okay,
it's my favorite thing Kugler has done. It's my favorite thing Michael B. Jordan has done, and it's awesome, man. And the soundtrack is elite. Like again, that's another thing. I haven't like sought out a movie soundtrack in forever, and I've been for 2 weeks after watching Sinners. That was all I've been listening to.
You mean you weren't just rolling with the Wicked soundtrack for weeks on end? What do you mean?
Yeah, no. Wicked didn't make the cut.
Oh,
it didn't make the cut, unfortunately.
All right.
Unfortunately. But what's up, NC for Corner? Appreciate you for coming through. Yeah, that's exactly what we're here to do today. If you're watching live, feel free to chime in as we go through this. But we're gonna. This is a week episode 2, if you want to call it that, week 2 of our live streams together. And in this episode, live stream, whatever you want to call it, we're going through the entire roster, piece by piece, player by player, and we're putting them in a ranking of who's most likely to stay on the team or be on the team when next season rolls around, and who's least likely to be on the team. So we're going to come up with a consensus, and it's not what I would do or what Balta would do. It's what we think the team will do. Fair?
Fair.
All right. And, all right, let's see here. Let's get going here. this one, and then we're gonna do it like this, and then we're gonna switch it like that. There we go. All right.
High tech.
I am learning
Sam
StreamYard
Dracula
as we
YouTube
go.
channel.
I promise there's got to be a button to do this in one go, but we're clicking over here. We're getting it. We're doing it this way. All right. So let me get the chat back up so I can see what people are saying. Musty Martian. Time to trade Melo and Williams.
Woo.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. I guess
we'll
talk
for sure.
We'll hit on that for a second, I guess. Maybe.
And for me, well, before we go into what's on the screen right now, for you, what is your, like, I guess, your opinion on what the overall goal of this offseason should be for the Hornets?
Just win some damn games, honestly. We know the draft lottery has not been kind to the Charlotte Hornets in the aspect of winning the number one overall selection in a year in which there's a clear number one prospect. Need to say that, because I don't think anybody would be singing the draft lottery's praises should the Charlotte Hornets have won or had won the draft lottery last season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of fans would have been like, "Oh, of course, this is the season the Charlotte Hornets win the draft lottery." You know?
Yeah.
And then when we do speak about the draft lottery, the Hornets did move up to 2 to get Brandon Miller. The Hornets did move up from, I think we were slotted 8 to 3 to draft LaMelo, and then we were the one bottom team this year that still stayed in the top 4. So, I mean, the Hornets have had a little bit of luck, I guess you would say, in the lottery, a little bit of lotto luck. We just haven't struck gold. We've been hitting on some silver, but we haven't struck gold. We haven't gotten that diamond in the rough, essentially. So win some games. The lottery is not hitting for us as far as the number one overall selection. Win, and people always want to talk about health. I'm sick of talking about health. I think one of the attributes of this team is they get injured. And now I don't think that that's for each individual player. I don't think that, like Brandon Miller has an injury tag on him now. That's not what I'm saying. But overall, from a team, if I'm breaking down this aspect of the team as far as health goes, we kind of get an F on that. I think you're going to have multiple guys: Trey Mann back injury, Mark Williams back injury, LaMelo multiple ankle injuries, ACL with Grant Williams. I mean, some of these are pretty big and can be worrisome moving forward. Now, ACLs, people aren't as scared of those any longer as we used to be. But, I mean, for a player that's, athleticism was never his, forte. I mean, he could even lose another step in Grant Williams. I still think he's valuable to this team, but just win some games. I think that's where I'm at. I don't believe this team is still a playoff team. And I know people don't want to hear that. I'm just being honest from my standpoint. I believe injuries are going to be a thing this season again, because they have been. I'm just looking at track record. And I'm not saying LaMelo will be the one that gets hurt, but I think somebody will. I think LaMelo will miss some time. Hopefully it's not much, but I do think he will miss some. And I think that's just an attribute of this team at this point. But I'm thinking you got to hit 30-ish wins, and you can't be doing this stuff where you're trotting out KJ Simpson and Damian Ball and Jeffries and Tijon Salon in the starting lineup in games in February, March, and April.
Yeah, and just to kind of double down on your draft point, because even when the Hornets in 2021, the Hornets had 2 cracks at it, right? Kai Jones, James Bouknight. And then 2022, the very next season, Mark Williams and Jalen Duren, right? They made a choice there probably the wrong decision. We know how the 21 draft
Yeah.
went. So when you look at like the misses, just incorrect selections or decisions, and then just the missed opportunity, it kind of puts you in a position where you're at in 2025, where your roster doesn't have a wealth of young talent equivalent to how much you've been losing. You should be able to draw a line to like, this team hasn't won a lot of games, but they've been picking a lot of good rookies or a lot of good young players over the course of those years. But there is a disconnect there, and that's kind of how you end up in this spot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we have here on the right, I feel like I'm back at work right now. In column C, we have the entire roster of the Charlotte Hornets as constructed at the season as the season ended, and it's sorted by salary starting next season. So obviously LaMelo's gonna be the highest earner. Bridges, Nurkic, Green, Williams, Miller, Salon, Okogie. By the way, so I have non-guaranteed next to Okogie, non-guaranteed next to Jeffries, to Diabate. Trey Mann is a restricted free agent. Seth and Taj are unrestricted free agents, and then Wendell Moore Jr. restricted free agent. And then we got the two-way guys, Ball and Simpson. So I think for me, the number one, should we start at the top or bottom? What do you think? I don't know.
Let's go top.
All right. For me, there's a no doubter.
It's Brandon Miller.
Yeah. Okay. Easy.
Key it in bold.
Yeah.
Italics, no italics, because there's no chance it's not him.
Yeah. He's obviously still 2 years left on his rookie deal. It'd be insane to move on from him. And clearly untapped potential there, right? So a real building block. Number two isn't far off for me, but from a time frame point of view and salary cap point of view, Brandon Miller jumps ahead of LaMelo. And
indeed,
that's where you're at too.
So number two,
Yeah.
I actually I went ahead and threw in the draft selection.
Okay,
is what I had number two. I even put that above LaMelo because I don't believe the Charlotte Hornets trade away pick 4, or even if they choose to trade back. And I know that I'm kind of breaking your rules already.
No. I think because
it is what it is.
Obviously, not everyone's going to be on the team next year, obviously, so there will be room for rookies because there's going to be the 4th overall pick and 2 second-round picks too coming in some capacity.
And so, so in my mind, I did not include the second-round picks just because we don't even know if the Hornets are going to select there. I could see them packaging those or moving off of those for futures, or maybe they select. We'll see. Mm-hmm. But I know the Hornets, whether they select at 4 or they move back to 7 and accrue some additional assets, they're still going to select someone, and that would be my number 2 personally. What do you think on that? I know that you weren't thinking in those terms. Yeah. I kind of threw something at you real quick. Where do you fall on that? Would you put this draft selection at number 2 as well?
Yeah, it makes more from a most because like Deontay. So this isn't a value list. I think it's most likely to be on the team. And
yeah, no, not most valuable.
Yeah,
more like I think the Hornets are selecting a rookie in this draft at 4, and then I think that's more likely. Like the LaMelo trade talk, I don't think there's much to it.
Same,
but in that realm, I think the number 4 selection would be a little bit higher than even LaMelo on guaranteed to be on this team. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me. And for that reason, I would have LaMelo next. And
yes.
There's going to be a point, I'll probably like, there's a tier to this where there are guys that, there's going to be a drop-off at some point where everyone prior will be on the team, right?
Dude, I got to a point in this, and I know we'll get there, where I was just like, hell, I really don't care what happens at this point. I really don't. I would be so for real.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know when we get there. It's not far. I'll tease it. It's not far.
Okay. Well, so obviously LaMelo coming in at 3rd here. Still in that top tier. I would be genuinely shocked if LaMelo is not on the team. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't believe any of the trade stuff. I think it's not reported. I think it's speculation, and I'll be shocked if he's not a Hornet. So I just want to be clear on that. Like, I think he's going to be on the team at the start of the season.
I agree, and I think to a large degree, not only does the front office want LaMelo, I think, just gauging his, like, what's his trade value? Like, no one knows. It's kind of like Zion. Like, the idea of Zion is extremely interesting, but like nobody knows how much they would be willing to give up for him to obtain him in a trade, and nobody really knows what New Orleans would want, and would that be too much? I feel like LaMelo's in that realm now because he's just missed so much time. I have no idea what even value to place on him, so I think he's solidified at the top of this list, or towards the top of this list. I mean,
and my one last thing about LaMelo, like any success, I just want to make, because like I just want to be very clear for anyone watching, like this is not an anti-LaMelo list. I like LaMelo Ball a lot, and I think this team's success and ceiling is on his shoulders, and he's a vital piece to any potential the Hornets have going on and going forward. So I just want to be very clear about that part. Next, I want to go Bridges here at 4. Where are you at?
The front office seems to love Bridges. I had Miles towards the top of my list as well.
And by the way, and just to double down, this is on the team at the start of the season. Who knows what could happen at the deadline? But like throughout from the summer to October whatever. We're not trying to gauge like what happens at the trade deadline. Yeah,
like no. I think Miles Bridges is the next name on this list.
Okay, yeah, we'll lock him in, and then again, he's kind of being put in these like speculative articles about Hornets offseason moves and whatever. It's because he does have value and a declining contract, a descending contract, probably a better way of saying it. And it's very valuable to a team that's looking just to fit underneath that apron while also acquiring a good player. So this is kind of where it gets kind of like iffy to me.
Yeah.
I think these are all locks.
Mm-hmm.
And now
we're going to color code those. Okay.
It's a bit murky. We'll make it green. Green means good.
Green. They are good to be on the Charlotte Hornets come October.
They're locks for me. Everyone else is kind of like trade bait, so to speak. I low-key want to put Salon on here. 5. Because
he's my next one.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad, because for this exercise, I have a hard time believing anyone would trade for Tajon Salon.
No one's trading for him. I don't think the Hornets brass is sitting there like just we've got to get off of him either. They utilized the 6th pick in just last year's draft. I believe that they believe in his motor and his work ethic, and that when they drafted him, this was a multi-year process. And so I don't think after 1 year, they're like, oh, we've got to get off of him. We messed up. I think that they do believe in him, or his work ethic and his motor. And I don't think anyone's trading for him either, like looking to be like, oh, we really need that Tajon guy. No.
Yeah. If he's in a deal for me, it would be a situation where he's a throw into a bigger move.
Yeah.
Which again, I don't think the Hornets are in that mindset of making a big move like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for me next is like, I think I'd go veteran route.
Yep.
I'm staring at Josh Green. Like it's funny they're grouped in here. I would go Grant. For me, it would be Grant then Josh.
I have Grant Williams next on my list.
Okay, cool. Then let's go with that then.
I had Josh Green a little bit farther down.
Okay. So yeah, Grant, obviously coming off a major injury. He'll how old? He'll be 27, I guess, at the start of the season, or at least at some point next season. Uh, very crucial to what this team needs on the defensive end for sure, from leadership point of view, from a floor spacing point of view. It's the state of the Hornets. So like it's kind of the thing where if Grant Williams is a key piece of the puzzle in 2025, it's like, what's that really say? But Grant, to his credit, when he was out there, delivered to what he's advertised to be. And it means a lot to what the Hornets have currently. And for me, from a schematic point of view, I like the idea of having the option to go like defensive with Grant and Diabate in late game situations if you need to, like to have those two guys to throw out there that are really tough, really strong, really switchable on defense. Like I'd be surprised if he's not part of the franchise at the start of the season.
Love Grant Williams. He came in and he did everything that he said he wanted to do. He seems to love, like he's from Charlotte, obviously, loves the city. Genuinely looks like he loves the team and being a part of the team and wants to see it succeed. And how many guys have you been able to say that have wanted that in Hornets history? I mean, recently, or I mean, even if you go a little bit farther back. Coming off injury, I don't think many people are trying to acquire Grant Williams. And I believe this coaching staff really values Grant. And I think fans started to see his value when he was healthy prior to his ACL injury. And so, yeah, Grant Williams is my next. After this, I had Musa. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, there's no wrong spot for Diabate. I think he's gonna be part of the team no matter what.
Yeah.
A super from like a cap management point of view, like super valuable, right? He's on $2 million next season, and then $2 million the season after that. For a backup big, like that's super solid. That's really great value for a workhorse, defensive minded, rebounding machine. So like that, anywhere you have Diabate, you're not gonna get any argument out of me with that.
Yeah.
So I like that. What pains me is like if he didn't get hurt, Trey Mann would probably be like here for me.
Oh, sure.
But it's the fact that he is a free agent, restricted free agent, and he's coming off a very serious injury at the end of the season. I don't have a firm landing spot for him.
Although Trey Mann was one of the more difficult players to gauge.
Yeah, so
maybe because you think like I think he would have been difficult even if he had stayed healthy, because I think he would have gotten a lot of interest.
Yeah,
I really
that's true.
do.
That's a good point.
I think he was going to be difficult either way.
Yeah, there's an element of you play your way into a better situation onto a better team, and you have opportunity to cash in, because that Hornets were in cash in mode with Mark Williams and Nick Richards and Micic and Cody Martin. So there's a reality where Trey Mann enters the cash in sweepstakes and gets swept up into that during the season. So we can revisit that.
So you said you had Josh Green higher. Is this where you want to peg Josh Green?
Yeah, I want to go Josh Green here.
Okay.
Are you cool with that?
I'm totally. I had him 9.
Okay.
So where are we? We're at 8.
Yeah, we're at 8.
Yeah, I'm good with Josh Green here. I think we're in a good spot.
In this scenario, right? Let's like play out the draft, depending on who. I mean, edge. Everyone has edge come going to Charlotte, and that's perfectly fine. So let's say that's the selection at 4.
Mm-hmm.
That pushes Josh Green to the bench, into a 6th man role, 7th man role, where he should be. And so there's a reality where you take Edgecombe and then you demote, not really demote, he's just placing Josh Green on where he had the greatest success with Dallas in the finals, putting him back in that position. That makes him better than what we saw last season. So he has a very tradable contract if they want to get into that world at $13 million this year and 14-ish the following season. But realistically, I think having a rookie wing or a rookie guard in the mix and reallocating Josh plus Nick Smith Jr., plus Trey Mann, whomever, as the other guard off the bench, that could be that makes me feel better about like the roundedness of the rotation and roster if Josh Green is coming off the bench.
Yeah, that's where he needs to be. Any team that has Josh Green in the starting lineup, you are going to have a definitive ceiling. And that ceiling is probably, I mean, it should be better than 19 wins.
Yeah.
But he's just, that's not him. And so Josh Green, super affordable. What, 13 mil, right? I think he and Grant are both, I think Grant Williams is also 13 mil. That's why I think Grant Williams is more valuable to this team than Josh Green is. That's why I put Grant above him. But, I mean, similar salary, players who do somewhat of the same things. I know positions are different. I know Grant can shoot it a little bit better. He's also a little bit more offensive savvy, I'd say, than Josh Green. But, yeah, I think this is a good spot for Josh Green. Next, we're in danger zone here. This is where things get really crazy because I don't know if you've noticed, Sam, but Mark Williams, his name's not on the list yet. And I mean, we're looking at a time where will he be here? Will he not? I actually next. I think I got Nick Smith Jr. next. And I think the reason is, once again, I just really don't know if any team is calling the Charlotte Hornets for Nick Smith Jr. And once again, if he is included in any deal, I think he would be a sweetener. He would be somewhat, hey, we still got this young guy. He can kind of come in, fill it up a little bit. Hasn't found his footing quite yet in the NBA. Maybe he just needs to be on a better team and maybe could be utilized there. Do you have Nick Smith Jr. here, or you have him lower?
I have Mark Williams here.
Okay, that's fair.
But I completely agree with your opinion on Nick Smith Jr. And your viewpoint on it. And
I think Mark Williams is more desirable.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
He finished the year. So I think a bunch of other teams around the league are like, hey, what the hell did the Lakers really pull here? Like legit. There were questions when it happened, but then as the season carried on and Mark Williams played, and I mean, he had some performances to forget, but he also had some to remember. Yeah. And I mean, he had some really good games down the stretch. He played in the majority of the games. He would sit out a few, but for the most part, he played. And I think he had a chip on his shoulder. I think he wanted to play, to be kind of, throw one back. We even saw his cryptic tweet, when the Lakers were put out of the playoffs. Hilarious, great stuff. But I mean, he's a more desirable player than Nick Smith Jr. So in those regards, once again, I know who was it? Deontay White earlier said pick number 4 is not more valuable than LaMelo. Agreed. Nick Smith Jr. is not more valuable than Mark Williams, but in my mind, I see a realm where it's more likely for Mark Williams to be traded than Nick Smith to this summer.
So, where we go next here? Because Nurkic is sitting out there.
Oh, I mean, if you had Mark Williams next, I had Mark. Yeah, I had Mark here, I think.
Okay, let's put Mark in there.
Let me check. Yeah, I had Mark next. I had him behind Nick Smith Jr.
And as a Hornets fan, I like a lot of what Mark Williams offers, but I am terrified of being in the Mark Williams business long term and how much money he'll command as a free agent next year. So next season is the last season of his rookie deal, and then it's time to make a call. And I think it'd be in the Hornets' best interest to cash in and not get into that.
I think the Charlotte Hornets showed you at the trade deadline what they thought about Mark Williams long term in Charlotte.
And I got to imagine they had an idea of what Mark wanted annually, like last offseason, right? Like they have to know where speaking
this
with
is
his
headed.
representatives. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have to know like what realm you're talking about here. And at 20 million, I think for Mark, I think it's going to start at 20, like in that Claxton range,
Oh
and
my
then could go a
goodness.
little high. Can go who knows how high,
Yeah.
depending on the interest and what the center market looks like if he hits the open market.
How many Charlotte Hornets fans are happy with Mark Williams on a rookie extension, making 20 mil plus per year?
It's scary.
Who's excited about that deal being announced by Shams? Anyone? I
Yeah.
I mean, on a rookie deal, 5 mil, sure. Like you saw fans like, no, why are we trading him for Connect and a first in the 2030s? Like that's like, no, we need a center. But I mean, 20 20 plus mil, man, I don't want that. And I'm not sure that this front office does either. And I think that's why they tried to lock in a rookie player that they were interested in and connect. And then that first.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, like we'll talk about Mark as we get through the summer, but yeah, like it's too many like of this or like it's not doesn't feel solid to me. And to your point, they already tried to trade him once.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. I think we're in Trey Man.
We're in Trey Man zone.
Okay.
We're in Trey Man landia.
Okay, I love Trey Man. I loved what we saw at the preseason. I love what we saw at the start of the season.
It was so good.
And not for basketball reasons, just like genuinely, it was just nice to see people talk about Trey Man for how he was dressing and how he wore his uniform. Just hearing Hornets, hearing like people talk positively about the Hornets, who don't talk about the Hornets is always nice. Like when you're scrolling your TikTok feed or whatever, like it's nice to see that. Mm. And he had a really great opportunity in front of him to be that leading scorer off the bench and potentially the third leading scorer on the team. Like I thought he could have averaged 15 points clean a game over the course of the season and been in that 6-man conversation. But unfortunately, it cut short. Now he's doing the standard post and workout videos. That's always good to see. But man, like no pun intended, man, it is worrying.
Man.
It is worrying, man. But there is a silver lining to the Hornets and to the cap that whatever he would have commanded before the injury, that number is not today's number. It can't be.
No.
And his qualifying offer would put him at $14 million, I think. And that feels about right what he might have gotten annually. So whether it's an extension or a 1 year, make it like prove yourself kind of deal. It's a hard one to wrap my head around. I don't feel a lot of confidence in where Trey Man goes. I would love for him to be part of the roster though.
Yeah, I would love for Trey Man to come back as well. Obviously healthy. These back injuries. I mean, he sat out. When did he go out?
Oh man, I'll tell you in a second.
December?
It was early. It was early.
Like, I mean, this is the stuff that's kind of scary.
Games, yeah.
Do what now?
He played 13 games.
Yeah, like I mean, that's just that's not good. And on a team that has PTSD with injuries, I mean, signing Trey Man long term is just another jump scare for this fan base. And it's got to be even. I know the front office and I know new ownership. They're new, but I think they've got to be reading the writing on the wall at some point as well. They knew what they inherited, and they're like, "Oh, our luck won't be as bad." Well, kind of was. Mm-hmm. So it is good to see. I've seen the videos with Trey Man. It looks like he's practicing, working out, training again. So that looks good. Precautionary type stuff to where he probably could have came back a little bit earlier rather than just sitting out and missing the rest of the season. But I mean, anything long term, that's just a giant question mark for a team that's already has so many of those.
So next up, I want to go Akoji.
Oh yeah,
You cool with
Akoji
that?
is next.
Okay.
Vet,
Yeah.
defensive guy. Showed some good stuff before his injury. Um, Damn man. Yeah, it's Akoji for me next as well.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you're talking about the older vets and your two ways. It's
Yep.
basically what we're down
That's where
to
we're at
now.
now.
Correct?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, Nurkic. The board is Nurkic, Jeffries, Curry, Gibson, Moore, Ball, and Simpson.
Can we go ahead and put who we have last? Can we jump to the end?
Well, so I don't have room now for my last guy.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean he didn't have a chance. He didn't have a chance anyway. So I mean he's even off the board.
Is it Wendell Moore Jr.? Is that your who's your last guy? Because I'll just take him off the list right now.
It was Taj. I don't think Taj is coming back at all.
Okay, so he's not retiring. He's not yet.
Yeah, not yet. There has been no official announcement.
What does it say if he does come back? If they sign him in July, what does that say about their goals this year? I think to me it says we're running it back and we're trying to get a high lottery pick again.
Yeah. I mean, because at this point, great locker room guy, everybody saw the celebration video, in his final game or whatnot. Everybody's pouring water on him. All that is great. Brought a tear to your eye. Everybody. You got to get guys who can impact the game on the floor and in the locker room. And you had Hornets fans clamoring for so long, get somebody in the locker room, get someone in the locker room. I was one of those as well. I was like, we got a bunch of kids. We need some adults. We need some grown-ups. And so getting Taj at all, I thought was a win. But I also knew going into this past season that the Charlotte Hornets front office, there was no chance in hell that they were going to lose that first-round pick to the Spurs.
Yeah.
There's no way. Now, you had other fans talking playoffs. You had other fans talking at least the play-in with a great chance at the playoffs, or even if we make the play-in, we lose there, we still get to keep our pick, right? But I saw a lot of playoff talk. I never believed any of that. This front office was 0% interested in anything that rhymed with playoffs. And so, yeah, Taj Gibson comes back again. He cannot impact the game on the floor any longer. Big Unk in the locker room, but the big stunk on the floor. Okay, that was terrible. That was so bad. Yeah, if Taj Gibson comes back, it just feels like more of the same.
So all that being said, I think Taj has a better chance of coming back than Wendell Moore Jr.
Oh, but he's gone, right? He's unrestricted free agent. He's done.
Who's that?
Wendell Moore Jr.
Well, so he's a restricted free agent technically.
Is he restricted? Okay, I thought he was unrestricted.
There's no reason to.
No, my fault. Yes, I didn't even put him on my list.
Yeah. Okay. So
because I thought it was just so foregone.
Because someone's not gonna have to make it over to the other side, so we'll leave Wendell on the right side. He's
completely off. He was so last. He did not even make my list.
All right. Cool.
And then the guys that made my list, it was Taj. Taj was last.
All right. So where do you want to go after Akoji? Do you want to go Nurkic or Curry?
I think
or neither.
I think it's Nurk, because if you do move off of Mark Williams, then you have Nurk, who is showing a willingness to be here. I don't think it's Grant Williams level, but I think Nurk at this point in his career just wants to play basketball. And I really don't think he cares if he's on a losing team or not. He just wants to play. And that's the messaging that he himself continues to give and provide through the media, through his social media. Anytime he gets behind a microphone, that's what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. He's talking highly or speaking highly about this team and what Charles Lee is building and what these young guys, the work ethic that they're putting in, He's saying all of the right things because he just had a disaster in Phoenix with Budenholzer. And I don't think that that's what he wants here. And I think he just wants to play. He sees a bad team. He sees $20 million coming into his pockets. He's like, I can play, make money, live in a good city. Charlotte's a great city.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think Nurk is next on the list because in the realm where Mark Williams goes via trade, I think you have your center there. And even in you trade Mark Williams, you don't have to be searching for a center in return in that.
Oh, I think we just lost. We lost Balta. So I'm gonna keep it going. Let's see. Maybe he can rejoin. But with Nurk, I think he's a prime candidate with his expiring contract to be put in a deal for a team that's looking to either dump salary or get dump salary basically, and then potentially give up some picks where the Hornets will take on money and for the hard effort of taking that money on, getting some picks in return. Nurkic is like a prime candidate for that if there's a team willing to pay to get rid of some money because of Nurk's expiring. Oh, we're back? We're back?
Yeah, I don't know what that was. My bad. But no I heard everything you said. You said it beautifully. Just carry the show, Sam.
All right. So we got the board. We have Jeffries. We got Curry, Damian Ball, and KJ Simpson. Where are you at with Seth Curry? We don't have to go in order, but just in the context of this list, where are you at with Seth? He's an unrestricted free agent. I don't imagine a lot of teams are calling him up right now, respectfully.
No.
And he's a Curry in Charlotte. It feels like it's karmically, like it's karmically a bad move to get rid of a Curry once he got one.
Yeah.
And after all this time.
I mean, this is your last ditch effort at attracting Steph, right?
Yeah.
Like you cut his brother, it's done. Like it's never happening. But you can hold on to hope. You can have the smallest of hopes if you keep his brother on the team, just like Thanasis and Giannis, right?
Bronny? No.
Not that. Sorry. I think with the rest of these guys, put them wherever you want, Sam. I mean, Curry's the only he's the last truly interesting one to talk about, I guess.
Yeah.
And no disrespect towards KJ or Damian Ball.
So I would go, I'd go KJ, and just for the sake of the exercise, Jeffries showed more than Ball, which is kind of like not where you want to be when the quantity. I swear, hang on a second, I gotta find this. I swear, Jeffries. Yeah, Okay, so Seth won the 3-point percentage trophy.
Yep.
Great.
Put him above all of the two-way guys.
But so like Seth was taking 2.7 threes a game.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffries was taking 3.5. Like it was some weird basketball stuff was going on last season.
What?
Like Jeffries was, when he was out there, he was letting it fly.
Those last 2 months of Hornets basketball were crazy.
It was very weird. It was like a fever dream, to be honest with you. And he shot at a decent clip, to be fair to him. So for that reason, I got him ahead of Damian Ball for sure. Even though Ball looks kind of silky on the ball, and as a two-way guy, it's like one of those. He does.
I'm glad you said that. Ball does look silky on the ball. Like it's off ball. It's defending right. He's just. Yeah. I mean it is what it is. Did you have Taj last? Well, you had Wendell Moore Jr. Yeah, you cut him. So you had him last. Was Taj your next one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did you have Seth under Nurk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like we had a couple differences, but not many, just by a couple spots.
Yeah, and looking at it, there's under no. This is where we're at March 22nd, May 22nd.
Yeah, May 22nd.
2025.
Don't take me back to March 22nd, man.
I was talking about Jeffrey.
I don't want to be there.
Took me back to March.
I don't want to be there.
we're almost in June. Ain't no way this is gonna be the roster when things start up next year. The Hornets gonna have the 4th overall pick and then 2 second rounders to play with, and then who knows what happens with the free agents with Mark Williams, etc. But some of the glaring needs from this group that coming off of last season, playmaking off the bench is a serious need. Rim protection, big need. Shooting, big need. But that for me, that's like, okay, if Trey Mann is healthy, that kind of can kind of help that. Nick Smith Jr. more consistent. Josh Green in a different role. Maybe he's more aggressive as a bench guy than he was as a. He looks scared to shoot as a starter. Maybe as a bench guy, he'd be different. So it's like I want to give him a little lenience there. But yeah, shooting is definitely a need across the board. But largely, the Hornets have some work to do, no matter what their goals are, because I think KJ's back, but like I think at minimum they'll have 3 roster spots to fill at minimum, and it probably will touch this zone by the time it all is said and done, but before the season starts. But any other closing thoughts on this list before we end the stream?
We got to get better. We have to get better. I mean, there were multiple times looking at this and who's more likely to be back and in what role. And it's just more talent, inject more talent. And that's why I'm not out on the Ace Bailey stuff on selecting him at 4.
If he's there, like, so what happens at 3? Like, for me, I have a hard time thinking that he's not taken at 3rd. But what happens at 3?
I don't know. I can see VJ just going in. He seems smart, level-headed. He's got the right, just like NBA 2-guard body. He's like bulky, like already. Like obviously, he's going to have to do some stuff, put on some weight, get stronger. To fill out that frame, but the frame is there as far as 2-guard athleticism through the roof. He even has some catch and shoot, numbers and capabilities. I think there might be a world where VJ might be the guy at 3 for the 76ers. I don't think that's like crazy. And so if Ace if he's still on the board at 4. I'm not out on Ace. I'm just not. I know that most mocks have him going 3. We still have a month before the draft. We know how things change. We remember the Paolo Chet draft. Everybody thought that Orlando was taking Chet. And then right there at the last second, it's announced Paolo's the number 1 pick. And so, I mean, things can change, and they can change quickly.
And you know what? It really doesn't make sense to take Ace Bailey if you're the Sixers. Like, they're trying to win now, and Edgecombe is a very much a win now type of player or selection for them.
Yeah.
And Bailey has a ways. There's more of a ways to go to be at the level of NBA readiness that Edgecombe is. So that is something to consider. You're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. And for the Hornets, it would fit the Hornets timeline way better. Bailey versus Edgecombe would fit.
Edgecombe would fit fine, but Bailey's high upside, that's what you'd be drafting and banking on, is that upside. Because I think everybody's of the same agreement that Edgecombe just doesn't have that ceiling.
Yeah, I concur.
Because that shot making in some of those now, I mean, there's some crazy ass shots that the guy takes as well. And we have plenty of that on the Hornets already. But that shot making, those abilities are, I mean, that's all-star level stuff in the NBA as you project that out.
Right. Okay, cool. I think we can call it here. Any last words before we end the stream?
Con Knipple, I'd be fine with that too.
Same.
But we'll get to that. We have plenty of time to get to all that. There are quite a few guys I'd be okay with for the Hornets. So we're actually in a pretty decent spot, everyone. Hold your chin up.
Yes, sir. Well said. Well, Balta, I appreciate it. Appreciate you joining me once again. We'll be back every Thursday at 5:30 Eastern, talking Hornets basketball throughout the off season and beyond. But yeah, until next time. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe.
That's right. Adios.